Hi, Courtney.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really excited.
Good. I'm glad. Well, we have a lot of energy going on here because we've got people in the chat getting very excited about all the different talks, and I know that this one is popular because we've had more people join. Okay, so Courtney, do you want to start by telling us who you are, what UK music is, and what are we here to talk about today?
Yeah. So my name's Courtney. I am the Education Partnerships and Operations Officer at UK Music. UK Music, we do a lot of stuff for all different kind of aspects of the music industry. So there's like quite a small team of like 12, 13 of us who kind of dip into everything from kind of education into politics into everything. Just we're trying to really advocate and support the music industry, and just make sure that we're really advocating for, especially kind of in the politics side. Definitely in the minute, we've like you've probably heard AI quite a lot. So right now, there's just a big debate around the issues around copyright law and just making sure artists are getting paid for their work properly. So in terms of politics, that's definitely kind of a big thing, relevant thing we're doing at the moment. Where my role falls into, a bit more on the education side, is kind of doing stuff like this with you guys. So we really want to kind of get people, really just making sure that that transition from maybe education into the music industry, people feel supported, that they've got resources out there and things like that. So we do everything, and we also work with record labels, management companies, and everything, just to kind of just make the industry a nice place to be and everyone feels supported and things like that. And today I think we're just kind of delving into, I suppose, a lot more about just things around that really, and the people's journeys, and if people want to know how UK music helps them in kind of transition into their career, then we want to support you as much as you need it. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's obviously, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, music to people's ears. Because I know that there are lots of people watching who do want to get into the music industry. So it's nice to know that there is an organization out there who can genuinely help and has, lots of things in place that can support in different ways.
Yeah.
Um, I think maybe it'd be good to understand a bit more about the layout of the music industry, though, because that is something that you guys are very knowledgeable about, having some sort of bird's eye view over what the different things are that you can do in music. Because there is this kind of common misconception, as is the same in all the creative industries, that music is for people who want to be musicians and people who want to be A&R execs. But there are so many
Yeah.
more things that you can do. So help us understand more about the different things.
Yeah, and I've actually just been working on like some kind of career packs at the minute that are just kind of all this information as well. So they'll be done and accessible kind of in November. But yeah, so there is a real big misunderstanding that I think that music industry is just record labels or being an artist, and that's kind of it. But there's such a broad spectrum of roles in the music industry that, if you don't want to be a musician but you want to work in the industry because you're really passionate about music, like there's so many things. I mean, you can cross over with things like being an accountant and that kind of thing, but then it also goes into like you could do press work, you could work in venues, you can be in management, you can. I'm not sure if anyone might be familiar with like a term called metadata. So
Oh, yeah.
metadata is basically looking after data's data, if that makes sense. So think something like Spotify. So pop a song on Spotify, that song needs to know exactly like who the artist is, how long the song is, what it's called, all the people that were involved in it. Because chances are there's probably another song on Spotify already with the same name. So how do we differentiate it so that people, the right artist can get paid, etc. So there's lots of roles even behind metadata, things going into Spotify and streaming services and things like that. So whether you're someone that likes to work a lot with people, maybe going into like music events, or maybe if you are someone that's a bit more analytical, really likes your maths, going into something like metadata, there's something out there for whoever you are and whatever it is that you like doing that still links up and is really integral to music in some kind of way. So
Wow. I mean, yeah, that is a wide variety of things, isn't it, really? I think it's so interesting with music because there are so many different elements to it as well. It's quite unique in that way. There is the live events, as you're saying, like you can physically be at an event and that's part of like that's what you do kind of thing. Or
yeah,
there's the technical side of it, Spotify being a really good example. Then there is the more traditional side of it, you know, musician label, like you say. So there's so many different kind of areas for different people to go into. And
Yeah.
it's definitely not just for people who study music, right?
No, absolutely not. Like, yeah, you can just have a real passion for music, but yeah, like I say, just don't have to be a musician. You don't even have to be the people that sit and record the music. There's so much going on behind the scenes, like you say, technical as well. So like a lot of things to do with like IT or like equipment. Like music can get really quite into if you're quite into film as well. There's something you may have heard of called sync. So basically, if you work in sync, what you do is you will find music for TV adverts or like films and TV series. So a big one to think about is like Stranger Things, like all the soundtrack in Stranger Things, right? Someone's got to be there sourcing those songs. Um, and yes, there was a team that sat there and found those songs to fit in the film really well. So if you want to cross your creative industry paths there, that's also an option. So there's so much that people can do, and I just think even a quick Google search, like you can't find everything. So it's exciting, I think, to find different things to do.
Yeah, wildly exciting. I mean, I can't wait for your resource to come out. You'll have to send that straight over to us so that we can put it on the app because
Yes,
sounds like you know, or you'll be laying out all the different things. Um,
absolutely.
and also, so obviously, it's in the name of the company, UK Music. You also are very on top of what's happening across the UK. Um, can you just debunk this myth that music or any of the creative industries is only for people who live in the South? Because that is something that we are trying to highlight this month, that there is, you know, creativity all over the UK. You just might not know it's happening.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I think it has definitely been like a thing where a lot of different companies or artists are trying to make people aware that music isn't just London centric. Um, I mean, you think like, Birmingham's in the Midlands, and that's like kind of the home of like Black Sabbath. They've got a really rich history of music up there. There's lots of grassroots things going on in Birmingham. Manchester is also another big music hub. I think that is the biggest one after London. And that's way up north. Again, so rich in kind of art communities, grassroots venues. So these places are really big hubs for, starting off. And then just as well, like there's lots of towns. So I live outside of London, and where I live there's a really kind of successful grassroots venue, and I think that's the heart and soul for a lot of music. So if you are wherever you are in the country, if you've got like a bar that also has a stage kind of somewhere in there, or just a really small music venue, like these are the places where bands first start off, and sometimes get discovered. It's not always just big city centres and or London. That there's so much more going on, and I think as well since COVID, we've had a lot more of a expansion with remote working as well. So there's a lot more things going on where you can do, like this. We can set up a meeting over Zoom or Microsoft Teams or something. People are a lot more happy just to have a quick like 5-10 minute like intro chat from wherever you are. So yeah, just it's not all about London. I know sometimes it can feel like that sometimes, but there's so much other things going on kind of around the country. So yeah, don't feel like it's all just in the south, because it's absolutely not.
Absolutely. You just have to go out and find what's happening in your local area. So,
Yeah.
on that train of thought, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start a career in music but doesn't know where to begin because maybe they are in an area that, let's say, they're not in a city?
Mm. I mean, I think I definitely could speak from my own experiences with that as well. I've never lived in London, and there have been times where I've kind of sat there and been like, I don't know what to do. I definitely can't maybe like afford the journey, especially kind of earlier on in my career. What do I do? So how I started my career, and this is talking from someone who's not an artist. I found like online radio stations to work with. And so for me, I'm in the heavier kind of genres of music, I like my rock music. And so for me, I found they're called MMH Radio, stands for Midlands Metalheads. And this was pre-COVID as well, so pre everything being remote. And they're an online radio station, and they were just looking for some extra kind of volunteers to just have radio shows, do kind of reviews of new album releases, and do some press work. And so I started writing album reviews, and it was quite nice because I was doing kind of really small emerging artists, but then I also every so often got like a really big band to kind of like write about. And then after a little while, they kind of like they liked my work, and then they started sending me out on press. So I kind of dotted around to different kind of venues and started doing press for some quite big bands, kind of just off the bat. So for me, that was my stepping stone in, because that role gave me experience of dealing with artists, but also dealing with record labels and things. So that was just loads of really good kind of bits putting on my CV. And yeah, that was all kind of remotely done. Like, everything from the social media posts and the website writing was all remote. So I personally, just for getting like a stepping stone in, um, that was really good for me. Just, finding little remote opportunities that were like a few hours a week.
Yeah.
If you're coming in from a musician perspective, just finding your local venues was definitely something I would recommend. Because I think, again, with that kind of London centric kind of mindset, people think that you have to go into London. That's how you got to get the gigs, and it's absolutely not. Something that me and other people at UK Music always say is get big in, try and get bigger in your area first. Like, if you have access to a live music venue, even if it's like a small pub, something like that, they just have a stage at the back, do open mic nights, whatever. Go for that first. Do it quite regularly. Kind of get a bit known in your area, because a million people are going to try and get big in London.
Mm.
Not a million people are going to try and get big where you are. And if you can get known in that one place, like, you're onto a winner. Like, and then you can kind of start spreading out and start kind of going out from there. But like, you kind of you've got yourself in that area kind of already sorted. So it's a really good stepping stone, and it's encouraging for grassroots venues, which is kind of another bit of an issue that we're facing at the moment in the industry. So you can get, even if it's just your family and your friends to begin with, get them to come along, watch a couple shows, and then everyone else will quite organically kind of end up discovering you, and blossom from there.
Absolutely. Big fish, small pond. That's what you want to be to
Exactly.
begin with. Yeah. Okay. And what skills or mindset do you think will help young people stand out in the industry today? Because as you've mentioned, there are some things going on in the press that are kind of maybe slightly more, I don't want to say negative, but there's some changes going on. AI, venues are somewhat struggling. How do you think young people should be kind of positioning themselves in order to be able to actually overcome that kind of negative mindset?
Yeah, I think top of anything, and that's no matter where you are in your career. I think this calls the same as having that resilience.
Mm.
Things only take one yes. Everyone hears a lot of no's all the
Yeah.
time, and don't take it to heart. It's nothing personal. Just really keep going, and just really believe in yourself and be really authentic. Um, Something that, so we work quite closely, obviously, quite a lot of different artists, and there's one artist, you may have heard of him, you may have not, but he's called Shaldo, and he's a rapper.
Okay.
And he always gives some really good kind of advice with things like that. Sorry, I've just completely lost my train of thought as I'm talking.
That's okay. Don't worry. No, no, no. Do you want me to ask a question again?
Yes, please.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
no, don't worry. No, no, you're not the first person that's happened to, don't worry.
Excellent. It's a Monday. It's definitely a Monday
It's
today.
a Monday. So basically, there's some things going on, like conversation-wise, about big issues in the music industry and lots of other creative
Oh,
industries,
yes,
AI,
I've got
venues.
it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone.
It's okay.
No, but so something that this artist Shaldo always says is, when it comes to kind of your marketing, when you start kind of going onto the platforms like TikTok,
Mm,
Instagram, however it is that you want to kind of market your band or your solo stuff, whatever it is, be really authentic and kind of get to learning maybe who your audience is. So for him, he's always said, he's not into doing TikTok dances, and because to him, that's not really what his brand is. That's not what he's trying to communicate or create. So for him, he just really learned what his kind of fans, and this is when he was obviously smaller than he is now, what it was that they really kind of resonated with, and it was never going to be TikTok dances for them. And even down to things like what kind of merch he'd sell. Like, his fans don't like maybe something a bit generic, like they don't like want tote bags and they don't want another black t-shirt. They liked manga series because he raps about kind of a lot of Japanese culture and gaming and things like that. So he started really tailoring his marketing and his branding towards like what really resonated with his fans, but also that was very authentic to him. And doing a TikTok dance just wasn't anything really relevant to him or his branding. So I think that's very crucial if you are going down like an artist path, to really kind of learn those little kind of bits. Maybe if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to do a TikTok dance either, don't feel like you have to. That's not going to be like a really make or break change. But I mean, at the same time, if that's something that you're into and you feel like it resonates with your brand, works really well, fine. At the same time, but there's no right or wrong way to kind of market yourself in that regard, which I think is always really important. Because I think if you want to grow your brand and your music, to be authentic with yourself, long like down the line, your fans are going to stick around because it resonates with them. You know. Um, yeah, I think it is just about just keep going, because there's a kind of a saying as well that overnight fame realistically takes about 5 years.
Right.
So
Not so overnight then, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like when you see something kind of blow up, I guess you are so lucky. Realistically, you've already been working about 5 years to get to that point anyway. So it's just keeping in mind realistically behind the curtain that this, working really hard and being just, resilient and authentic, I think
Okay.
are some of the best things that you can be.
Nice. Good advice. Great advice there. I love the example. That was really good. Um, okay, and so if there's someone who doesn't want to go into the artist side of things, what do you think, what skills do you think that they could be arming themselves with now in order to be ahead of any changes coming in the music industry? Like, what do you think is going to happen in the near future? And how can young people who want to work, let's say, in label or in venues or whatever, how can they get ahead of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think something that I think you can get in a lot of other job roles outside of the creative industries to bring in is like admin, which I know might sound a bit unglamorous and a bit like, oh God, but so much of my role and the role of people in my company and companies, across the industry is like nailing like spreadsheets and really like remaining like on top of admin and just being organized. I think it would be really useful if you can to get yourself along to any like networking events and kind of build on your skill of like socialization and not being afraid to kind of go up to people and just start a conversation, which I know when you kind of start doing that can be really daunting and you're like, oh my God, what do I say, what do I talk about when we get there? But if you can just kind of get yourself to a point where you can go and just talk to anybody,
Mhm.
um, it will do so much for you. And just even just yourself, just feeling in yourself like I'm just really good at just going up and talking to anybody.
Yeah.
Um, it'll just so much because you're dealing with so many different people. You'll end up meeting people and have no idea who they are, and they'll end up being like, the CEO of this and that company or label or something, and you'll just think yourself that you managed to just go and just have that conversation with them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just social skills, admin, big ones. But any kind of basic kind of IT, I think as well. So yeah, Google Suite, Microsoft Teams, having a really clear understanding of social media. These are all things that I see on job applications, like on like job specs, like a lot.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, trying to anything that's just there's so many things that you can just do and learn before you even get to the industry that are just so useful. I think just most of the time it's just being such a genuine and nice person and just like
Yeah.
being able to go into a room and just have just a relaxed conversation. It's just it will just do so much for you, more than you'd ever kind of imagine that it would. And it sounds so simple, but just having those like like personal social skills are just such a big tick, because it means that you can go off and demonstrate that you can like develop relationships within the industry, which is also like a really big thing that a lot of people want, is that someone that you can just work kind of quite on your own. Like you can work within a team, but you can also go off and work on your own and just like represent your organization like in a room.
Yeah.
Just yeah, such a good skill.
Oh, absolutely. And that's so transferable as well. Like if you try the music industry and you feel like it's actually not for you, you can take that skill elsewhere. Also, I
Exactly.
always think when it comes to a networking context, like they're more scared of you than you are of them, always. It's like a spider situation.
Yeah.
So going up to someone in a room, they'll be grateful if anything, because they didn't have the guts to go up to you. So,
Yeah.
um, and then on the admin, I think that's a really useful bit of advice. I think setting expectations for entering any of the creative industries, this has actually already come up, especially with film and TV. I think so many young people have in their heads that they're going to be like this pure creative, but every role, even the pure creative roles, involve spreadsheets, like you're saying, and admin and paperwork and all that stuff. And like you can't be one of those people that's like, oh, but I didn't think I was going to be doing this. Like, guys, everyone does it. Also,
Yeah.
I love a bit of admin. Like,
Yeah. I love
I don't mind.
spreadsheets. It's so insane, but I'm just like, I actually really enjoy it.
That's it. Organization is great, guys. It genuinely is.
Bit of color coding goes so far.
Yeah, so true. Okay, well, Courtney, thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to say? Oh, super quick, where can people find UK music, and also exactly what do you have available right now to help young people, if anything?
Yeah. So yeah, we've got UK Music. We have a website. You can go on there, and it is full of resources. Maybe I'll put a link in there. Can I put things in the chat?
I can, yeah, you actually can. You just make sure that you're sending it to everyone and not just the hosts and panelists, otherwise.
Yeah. Okay, so there's our website.
Fantastic.
So it's got all the information on there. So there's like the education kind of tab on the ribbon, talks about a lot of what we do. If anyone is planning on maybe going to uni, we've got a list of unis that we partner with on there, that just have really good high quality like lecturers, and anything that you want to do in the music industry, like obviously we recommend them. If you want to learn a little bit more about what we do as an organization, we've got kind of our reports on there. If you want to look at like just the job market, or maybe the diversity report, we've got reports on there for everything. So yeah, it's just a hub of resources on there. Yeah, and like I said, November, I'll be done with our career packs, which are also going to be like just another little resource pack. So they'll be on there eventually. And yeah, just get involved with as much as you can, online, offline, doesn't matter. Just find some communities, find some networking events to go to, and just keep, and just don't take no as anything personal. Just keep going, because all it takes is one yes, and like you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Oh, Courtney, that's a nice note to end on. Thank you so much.